welcome to Granny's Crochet Shop. Today we'll be making a basic beanie using the half double crochet stitch. I decided to make it from this nice orange color because it's fall and we have people who might want to wear it in place of a Halloween costume or when they go hunting. I have a lot of friends who like to hunt. I'm using a premium yarn. This is a Red Heart with Love. This other one here I've made with Big Twist Premium, which also has a nice feel to it. So to get started, we need to make our magic adjustable loop, which means we're going to start out just like I start out the slip stitch on my tutorial. We lay the yarn across our hand with the tail end, and we reach around, bring the working end around to make an X. We place our hook under the right hand portion of the upper part of the X, and then we grab a hold of the yarn and bring it through. Instead of tugging on this and making it into a slip knot, we're going to be working in this loop that is formed before we tighten the stitch. So gently wrap your hand around as to prepare to work your crochet stitches into the loop. So since we're going to be using a half double crochet, we will want to chain 2. 1, 2, and that will count as our first stitch. Then we will make 7 more half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. You may find a pattern who starts with something different at the beginning of a beanie. In my experience, once I've learned this magic adjustable loop, there is no other way to start a beanie from the top rather than doing the loop. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more with the the 2 chains. So now we have 8 half double crochets. Now you have this loose tail here. We're going to pull gently on it and it closes our ring. To permanently close the ring, we're going to slip stitch into the top stitch of the 2 chains. All right, now we can tighten our loop. See how it makes it so that you cannot see a opening there? This is really great for beanies. It's also great when you're working with stuffed animals, making the head or arms or whatever part of the body, which this would be on the ends, and we wouldn't want the stuffing to show through. All right, so now we're going to the next step, which is to chain 2. Now in this round 2, we're going to have 2 half double crochets in each stitch. This we're going to leave single until we get to the very end of the round. So in the very next stitch, we want to do 2 half double crochets. What we're doing right now is we're increasing the size of this circle until it fits the crown of the head, which is, this is going to be at the top of the beanie. Okay, so we've made 8 half double crochets into our magic adjustable loop, and now we've put 2 half double crochets into each of those stitches. Right now I'm at number 15, waiting to put in my last stitch. The last stitch is going to go here with your 2 chains that you made at the beginning of this round to complete that. If it goes in the same stitch, now we have two stitches in that last half double crochet. So we're going to join by going in the second chain that we made previously. 1, 2. We go into that second chain stitch and join with a slip stitch. Okay, so now we have 2 rounds. Each round we make at this point needs to increase so that it grows to fit the crown of the head of the person going to wear this. So the next round, we have round 1 and round 2. For round 3, we're going to chain 2 again, and we're going to save that chain 2 to use at the end of the round like we did last time, and begin once again by making 2 half double crochets in the very next stitch. Okay, so round 3 we're going to have multiples of 3. So we've done 2 half double crochets into that one, and the next stitch will just have 1. Then we'll follow that pattern. We will put 2 in the next one, and then 1, 2, and then 1. So go ahead and finish that out, and I'll meet back and show you how to start the next one. Since we started with 8 half double crochets in our first round, we should have 16 in the second round and 24 8 times 3 in the third round. Now that we're getting close to the end of this third round, I need to do 2 half doubles into the next stitch, and the chain 2 that we started with will serve as the single half double crochet into the next stitch. So we can join again by going into the second chain with the slip stitch. All right, we need to grow this out until it's a whole 7 inches. For a adult hat, we need a good 7-inch crown area, and we're only at 2.5, almost 3. So we're going to need to make a few more rounds. Each round needs to grow by the next multiple. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now we're on the 4th round. So we're going to chain 2 for that ending stitch and begin again with 2 half double crochets into the first stitch. This time, instead of doing just 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, we are going to do 1 in the next stitch, but we're also going to do 1 in the following stitch. So we have the 2 half double crochets and then 1 more and 1 more, which gives us a multiple of 4. So we're going to do that all around. 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, then 1 and 1 more. Okay, every round is going to increase in this way. Where we have the 5th round, we'll have 2 half double crochets into the stitch, and then 1 in the next 3. 6th round, we'll have 2 half double crochets into 1 stitch, and then 4 single individual half double crochets. So I'm going to work on that and come back to show you how that works out. We're probably going to need to do about 7 or maybe even 8 rounds. So when you get to the 7th round, it's going to be 2 half double crochets into 1 stitch and then followed by 5. So let's work on that and come back together and measure what we have. All right then, using my size J 6.00 millimeter hook with this premium yarn and using the half double crochet, it took me 8 rounds to get to the 7-inch mark, measured right through the center of the increasing round. So I'm ready to go. Perhaps you didn't quite make it to 7, or you were a little over 7. The important thing is you want to be around 7 inches for a full-size adult hat. If you're making a smaller one, then of course you won't need to come this many inches, maybe 6 or 5.5 might do. The thing here also is we used a half double crochet stitch, so it's going to take a few more rounds to go to reach our goal as compared to like a double crochet. You can always change this measurement too by using different size hooks, which will create larger or smaller stitches. The rest of the beanie, now we've increased it as far as we need to increase. So now we're going to make the bottom portion of the beanie that's going to wrap around our head. And in so doing, we're going to put 1 half double crochet into each half double crochet around. So we chain 2, and that counts as our first one. And then we're going to put the half double crochet in each stitch. Now I'm going to let you work on this going all the way around, but don't join it quite yet, because we are going to join it in such a way that this will be a spiral, so that we won't have any kind of seam showing in the rest of our beanie. So go ahead and take a few minutes, go around to every stitch, and when we get to the end of this row or round, I will show you how to join that and make that spiral action. All right, so I did a half cup double crochet in each stitch around, and now it's time to join. So what we're going to do, instead of putting a slip stitch into the second chain, we are going to yarn over and do a half double crochet right into that upper chain. We're going to mark this as the first stitch in our round, because when we come back to this point, we're going to move this stitch marker so we know what round we're on. All right, so now we go into the next stitch and do our half double crochet. And we're just going to keep making half double crochets around and around and around this hat. But once I finish each round, I'm going to be sure to move that stitch marker. So I'll take a moment and then I'll show you how that's done when I finish this round. All right, so I've completed my second round of half double crochets, and I'm back to our stitch marker now. So I'm going to half double crochet into the stitch with the stitch marker. And I'm going to remove it and move it up to the next row that I'm working on now. So you might want to mark off or write down how many rows you've done, and keep moving the stitch marker up just like that with each row. You're going to need to do 9 rows total. So if you've been following along with me, this brings us, we've already have 2, so we need 7 more rows. I worked my rounds, and I ended up doing 1 more round than what I told you. So I did 10 rows or rounds in the spiral with my stitch marker. The reason being that I wanted to bring it to about a 7.5 inch, which I'm almost there. It's more like 7 1/4. An adult hat should be about 8 to 8.5 inches. In the spiral with the single crochet now instead of the half double. And again, I'm going to move my stitch marker up as I go. And like I said, I ended up doing 10 rows of my half double crochets. So now I'm going to do 2 or 3 rows of single crochets to have it, make it have like a little more finished effect around the edges. And I'll come back then and show you how to finish that off, and your hat, beanie hat, will be good to go. See you in a few. So I ended up adding 3 rows of single crochet, 1, 2, 3, in order to give me my 8-inch dimension from the top of the hat to the edge of it. And so now I'm ready to finish this off, and I'm just going to go into this first stitch and do a slip stitch, and there you go, that's it. I'm going to pull this through and trim it off so I have a tail to work with. You want it long enough so that you're able to weave that in by sewing it with a plastic yarn needle, which I happen to have right here. And I'm just going to thread the needle and on the inside of the hat I'm going to weave in the ends any which direction that I can do that, so that I end up having a nice tight closure. So my hat is I keep calling it a hat. I know it's a beanie and it's still a type of hat, and for some reason I keep saying that, but it is a beanie and a half double crochet. The things to remember is if you're making an adult beanie, you want about a 7-inch crown with your increasing rounds. And then you want to continue going around until you have approximately 8 inches from the tip to the crown. And Now it's time. We can trim off the excess here, wherever I put my scissors. I'm not sure, they're underneath. I'm gonna trim this off. And here we have our lovely beanie that you can wear this winter long and enjoy. Thanks for coming to Granny's Crochet Shop. Hope to see you again soon. Stay warm.